This man obviously has good eyesight, but he pretends to be blind every day, because this is the only way for him, as a tuner, to blatantly see other people's secrets, so that people would let down their defenses and think that he was blind. Paul enjoyed being blind, but one day he saw something he shouldn't have. That day he was invited by a rich man to come to his house to tune his piano. The rich man's wife opened the door and wouldn't let him in. He thought he was being tricked and said he would go in any way he could. While they were arguing, the grandmother next door heard the noise and opened the door. In order not to arouse suspicion, she had to take him into the house. While Paul was concentrating on the tuning, he broke out in a cold sweat. He saw a body not far away. He knew that it was not a good place to stay and suggested that he needed to go to the restroom because he had drunk too much water. The woman was kind enough to help him to the restroom, but when he entered the restroom, there was a strong man with a gun. At this moment, Paul pretended to be calm. In fact, his heart was already racing to 180 miles per hour. But when he returned to the living room, but found lying on the floor is her husband. Although Paul was scared to cold sweat, but he still pretended to be calm and tuned the piano. The two of them took care of the body. Luckily, Paul's skillful acting was not recognized by them. Afterwards, he rushed to the police station to call the police. But when the sheriff came, he was dumbfounded, because the sheriff was the man who hid in the bathroom. Paul had no choice but to pretend that he had lost his cat and called the police. The next day, the rich man held a funeral. Paul was invited to play the piano, and the old lady next door came to the funeral. She told the police that she saw a strong man enter the rich man's house yesterday. The murderer could be that man. Paul happened to see the scene. After the funeral, he feared for the old man's life, so he rushed to the rich man's home, but the moment he opened the door, tragedy struck.